If you're already familiar with some of the UX design processes and frameworks, you might be wondering which one is the best to be applied to the conversational design. The good news is that the conversational design process is not that much different from the typical UX design process. And in this video, I'm gonna talk about a typical conversational design process. Let's go! Hey there, Olia here, helping you to go smoother and faster with conversational AI design and development. And on this channel, I'm sharing knowledge about conversational AI, doing tutorials on design and development. So if you're new here, consider to subscribe. Conversational design process is not necessarily a linear process, and it should be definitely an agile process rather than a waterfall. Continuously testing, iterating and refining their design concepts. But of course, at each stage, while designing conversational experiences, you should have users and their needs in mind. The very beginning, you start with research. You have to identify your users. What are your users? What goals do they have? What are their main pain points? You will have to identify the main use cases, but you also have to consider the technical constraints and the time and the effort of the implementation. You have to know your technology you're working with. At this stage, you might define a scope for a product that you're working with together with your product owner. You will also define what kind of features have to be included and what kind of content has to be included. You also might work on the user personas and also the system personas, and also you would do a user journey mapping. If you're completely new to the conversational design, I would definitely recommend you that you start learning about the conversational principles as before you start creating WUI flows or working on the utterance design or response design. And when you start creating the WUI flows, and the WUI flows are the blueprints in the conversational design, you always have to start with the conversation in mind. Because if you start designing first with a screen, then you have a risk that you might end with a graphical UI, which is absolutely not suitable for a conversational UI. Also, as a conversational designer, you are creating sample dialogues. And one of the best practices for creating sample dialogues is to test them while reading them out loud, making a role play with your colleague, just by imitating a typical situation between a user and a voice assistant. And also, while designing conversational experiences, you always have to consider the error handling besides the happy path. A happy path is a user path when everything goes smoothly, without any errors. There is always a probability that something goes wrong, and there is always a room for errors. But still, we have to consider that we shouldn't over-design our product and shouldn't cover all the edge cases that are possible. And when your design is done and everything is implemented, a testing phase is coming. And here you also have to conduct some user testings and get the feedback from your users. It's very important and crucial for improvement of the product. As it's an iterative process, you as a conversational designer will always go back to specific stages again and again and refine and improve your designs. So I hope you learned a little bit more about the conversational design process. Just remember that at each project or at each company it might be a little bit different, but still, if you like this video so far, just drop a like and subscribe for more videos just like that. See you next time.